Okay, narrative breakers, 2025 is not playing any games with anyone. We now have reports of a mysterious fog covering the entire globe and reportedly making people sick. I know it sounds like something out of the X Files. I initially wasn't going to report it, but it's gotten to be such a problem that it actually can't be ignored. Initially, we thought it started in the United States, but then we started to see reports out in South Africa, from the UK, and Croatia, in addition to a few other countries. Thus, bringing us to this video, we're going to find out where it come from, the implication of nanotechnology, and the White House now announcing that we're preparing for a new epidemic, which possibly might be relating to sickness.
Is there something going on with this fog and then people getting sick? Because hear me out. About 4 or 5 days ago, I was on TikTok and one of my friends had posted that there had been fog in her area for the last 3 to 4 days before that. And I was like, that's weird. I wonder if she lives anywhere near me, because I'm in southeast Nebraska and it had been doing exactly that for the last 3 to 4 days. I believe she said she was from Houston or something. But then I look at her other comments and people from all over the United States are talking about they have also experienced fog. Somebody's comment section, and people from Pennsylvania and Houston and southeastern Nebraska and Colorado are all experiencing this fog. And we are geographically in very different areas. That's strange. Now, people, Oregon, Florida, like all over the place, are saying that they have experienced this exact same thing. I understand it's cold and flu season, whatever. This could be just a weird coincidence, but really bad. I myself have been under the weather. And then I start seeing all these people on social media talking about they're all over the country and they're experiencing the same kind of.
Yeah, as you guys can see. So that's the first initial video. We're going to break into it, as you guys know we always do. But what makes this interesting and what really gave me the backing to go ahead and make this video is that the White House just announced a video of us moving forward. Strange thing about that, the whole entire video depicts people in mass. So what are we moving forward to? Because when you say that, it makes us think reminiscent of 2020. It feels like we're moving forward, maybe possibly to their propaganda, to their plan. Who knows? It's a very odd commercial. It's gotten everyone talking about it, and it's pretty strange for this to come out just 2-3 days after the initial reports of the fog. It has to be documented. As you can see, it's nothing but people in mass, which has led to some Americans being somewhat worried about the messaging on all this. Can we really blame them? Can we really blame people for being worried? I mean, you got an old black dude right here looking at I almost called him a can of pills, looking at a vial of pills. It doesn't really look encouraging, especially since we're getting ready for a new transition of power. What are they preparing us for is what Americans are asking ultimately. And who can be mad at that? Who can be mad at individuals being confused when you send this vague messaging telling us we're moving forward, but show us videos and symbolism that reminds us of our past?
In Manchester, we've had nothing but fog for 4 days now. 4 days in a row. Normally, just behind these buildings, I can see for miles out of my window, but I haven't been able to see past these buildings here, barely seeing this main road, since the 23rd of December. It's now the 27th. And I know what...
Now, initially, I'm thinking that it's just like, you know, we're in January, entering the era before we get to the spring. Last I checked, we always are met with fog, but the only thing that kind of had my conspiracy theory light bulb go off just a little bit is the fact that I've been sick. I don't know if you guys could check my recent videos. I was sick as a dog. Like, I never get the flu, and I thought I had the flu, but even now I'm still splitting up phlegm. Like, I feel it in my chest, and it's nonstop. And I've talked to about 50 different Americans, that's having the same problem, saying that they got this phlegm just stuck in their chest after recovering from what we thought was the flu. The symptoms that people are saying that they feel from this fog, it matches what I went through to the T. And I walk my dog a lot, and I will admit that, sometimes, about a few days ago before I got sick, it was a pretty thick fog that we were walking through. Straight coincidence. I'm not here to add any implications, but I try to dive into the minds of everyone. And I think to myself, what brought people to this conclusion to feel like the government is touching our fog? Well, as all things, once I started to dive a little bit deeper, I said, well, God darn, these people might just have something. Because there are studies and reports that Americans specifically should be getting prepared for something called smart miss. It's a nanotechnology that supposedly can track human beings and control their immune system. We were told about this in 2021. You can check with The Guardian and check with all the other mainstream media that spoke about it. It's actually smart dust. Just look it up, called smart dust, and we'll be breaking down into this. Now, it might not be fog. It could be the smart dust we were told about in 2021. Although it's not easy without mainstream media validating anything. The closest we have is mainstream media admitting that the heavy fog has pretty much made it hard to operate in Florida, which we'll get to that video. But please take everything with a grain of salt until the government gives us some type of confirmation or some type of invalidation for us to go off of. Because as of right now, it's complete radio silence. But what we do have are testimonies from individuals all across the world. This is not exclusive to the United States.
Fog is, and I've seen fog before, but I don't think ever in my life I have seen fog like this, like a blanket covering for 4 days in a row. And it's not even like it's disappeared and then come back. It's literally just been like this constantly since the 23rd of December. Is it just me, or is that not normal?
And for those that
if it wasn't for the lights there and the headlights, I probably wouldn't be able to see that road at all. Earlier on today, genuinely...
And for anyone following, this is in Manchester, UK.
Couldn't see a thing. I literally feel like I live in a Stephen King film. But yeah, it's pretty weird. Has anyone else ever seen this before? Has anyone else ever seen 4 days, even longer, of fog continuously? Get it in the comments. But yeah, I've never seen this before. What is going on?
Fucking conspiracy theorist, but I am. And so this falls in line. What the fuck?
Here appears to be American.
Is this shit?
I'm gonna turn my flashlight on.
What is this? This is not fog.
Like I said, there are people that are refuting it, saying, hey, this is just regular fog. Take off your tinfoil hats. I'm not here to accuse these people or validate these people of anything. I'm just simply here to report what they are saying.
Oh my God.
This is not.
Will again be closely monitoring dense fog that will impact plans.
So this is actually posted. You can check too on YouTube. This was posted just about 18 hours ago. And here's the news media, the closest thing we have. Like you guys know, I'm not pushing no misinformation. So be careful if you see people out here reporting saying that the news medias have confirmed it. As far as I know from my diving, this is the closest thing we have to any type of acknowledgement of this fog by the media.
This evening, already the National Weather Service has issued a dense fog advisory for Charlotte and Lee counties. It officially goes into effect at 7 o'clock, but we are already, especially in the western half of these counties, starting to see those visibilities deteriorate. So dense fog advisories in effect through about 10 a.m. and those could very well be overspread. I want to show you what we're talking about. Let's start off first here in Collier County, Marco Island. We've been in and out of the fog throughout the day. Right now, seeing a nice respite. Of course, so many folks taking advantage of that, enjoying that time on the beach. Let's head a little bit farther up toward the north. I want to show you this, our live look from our Margaritaville tower camera. And as we overlook Fort Myers Beach, it's impossible to even see the remnants of the pier there. Just really goes to show that fog.
Now, mind you, everyone, we deal with fog on this planet. And honestly, the fog that I'm looking at here, it doesn't look like the thick fog with the mist. There's a huge difference between mist, and that's why it feels like the smart dust is a little bit more accurate, because you have some foggy weather. Well, I can say this kind of looks similar to the same type of fog the dude in Manchester saw. But I feel like what's really happening, that there is something serious that's going on, possibly in some isolated events, thus leading to hysteria and people being hysteric or reporting on normal overcast fog, because they're trying to correlate what they see with things that they saw online. So I feel like, just like all things, you have truth being mixed in with misinformation, and they're not intentionally misleading people. But some things, without a doubt, is just fog, and it's going to falsely be reported as the mist. What we have to do is be able to distinguish the difference between the two.
Is dense on Estero Island, Estero Boulevard, crossing over the Matanzas Pass. If you are in this area, please travel with extreme caution, especially with so many folks, so many pedestrians out and about. And now let's take you a little farther toward the north, right here off of Pine Island. This is overlooking Pine Island Sound from the Tarpon Lodge. And as we overlook Pine Island Sound there too, you can really see that distinct layer of what we call sea fog. All of that fog continuing to move on shore. Even from the Sunseeker Resort, we can start to see that those visibilities are going downhill for now. I say visibilities are still at a couple of miles, but you can kind of see that fog bank there on the horizon. And that's exactly what our visibility map right here is indicating.
And like I say before, nothing about this to me. You guys could always come in the comments. You know, I'm always asking for you to come in the comments, give me some more information on what you believe, just to dive into your minds, because your comments help me create a conclusion myself. It just seems like fog on this one, but we have overcast fog, pretty thick, severe fog all across the United States, thus making it kind of hard to distinguish which one of these could be possibly the mist that's making people sick and just regular fog.
For parts of
and these are the things that, let's say if the government did implement this fog possibly right after the drones, it's perfect to have people to mix the information with this, because it invalidates the truth. When you have lies mixed around with the truth, and then completely invalidates the truth, especially if people are hunting for clicks and trying to create mass panic. I'm going to show both sides of the story, and I tell you, I do feel like at the bottom of my heart there is something strange going on, but only in isolated events, and we will show those isolated events
Sarasota
here.
County, across the Cape Hayes Peninsula. All of this will continue to work its way inland, and obviously even spots that weren't indicated there already seeing that fog. So helping you plan out the rest of this evening as you're out and about, please travel with extreme caution. Of course, we already have to be exceptionally careful on nights like tonight. But when we're talking about visibility is dropping to a quarter mile or less, it's going to be a huge concern, especially from 9 o'clock onward. And again, it's not until tomorrow morning that we're expecting that fog to clear out with a cold front. We'll be talking more about that in your 7-day forecast coming up.
But in the future, every square inch of...
So this is a video that appears to be 8 to 12 years old, even older than that, looking at the presentation and the overall pixelation of it. But that's beyond the point. What is the point is that they were speaking about smart dust. And there are plenty of videos to talk about smart dust. But what interests me about this one, that it's without a doubt, undoubtedly, one of the oldest ones. And from looking at that mist, it makes more sense of it to be the smart dust that's mixed into overcast fog. That's why you don't see it in all of the fog, but you hear reports of it all over the world. It's possible that the smart dust is being sent out when areas are having natural fog. That's why you have some people in the same country that don't see it, yet other individuals in specific states of that country do, because it would be targeted the same way that we have drones all across the United States. But Jersey was specifically targeted. We specifically had drones targeting Jersey, but after the Jersey drones, you start seeing reports of drones in Washington, D.C. You start seeing reports of drones in Texas and Virginia. I feel like the reason that is because those events outside of the isolated event in New Jersey, possibly they had one or two, let's say, go out and explore. But for the most part, it could have just simply been regular drone activity or regular military drone activity that would have been occurring before the New Jersey thing. It's just that the human consciousness of the whole scenarios has been enlightened, so they were looking out for any drone in the sky, thus making it news. What I'm saying, same thing with this. There was misinformation mixed in with real information with the drones, thus watering down the truth. The same could be said with the fog. Hey, we got people getting sick. We got reports of thick fog. We're seeing is believing. We see it. And then the White House comes out of nowhere and tells us to prepare to move forward while everyone in the video is looking sick. At this point, Americans have been psyoped time and time again. Can we really blame them from getting to the point to where we can't even trust the fog that's in front of us anymore?
Every city will be alive with intelligence, because every street and every building will have a network of microcomputers built right into them. Dr. Chris Piester calls it smart dust.
A smart dust particle, or mote, is a wireless sensor with sensing, computation, communication, and power in one package.
These all-in-one microcomputers will be small, very small.
The size of a moat today is about the size of a grain of rice.
Okay.
And we've shown that we can make the circuitry small enough and light enough.
And I hope you guys can see that's where I'm believing that it has some correlation, because if you look at the dust that they're dropping, it's somewhat thick, but also dense. I don't know how to explain it, but it matches the same type of substance that we see in those videos that people are claiming is the poisonous fog, just to me. The density. And it looks very similar.
That eventually it will be possible to make things that are on a sub-millimeter size scale.
Tiny specks of computer smart dust will form a vast invisible network that can help manage the infrastructure of even the largest city.
Smart cities in the future will take this low-power, inexpensive, small technology and basically distribute it everywhere.
These tiny computers record information about their surroundings, information they can send to other computers or to you. Smart dust on the tracks will monitor your commuter train so you know if it's running late. Potholes will be able to report themselves and warn your car, and you'll never have to wait for a radio traffic report again.
They're monitoring the flow of traffic and giving you alerts about what route is the right way to go to keep the traffic moving.
Bridges will get a coating of smart dust particles that can warn us when they detect stress fractures, helping avoid death.
Now, mind you, this is like a decade old, so it has to make you wonder, in this age of AI, in this age of technology that we're in, we are more technically advanced right now than we were 10 years ago, by far. Not only could this have already been implemented, it will make sense for it to start to be implemented right now.
Collapses. But smart dust will also allow buildings and streets to recognize you and respond accordingly.
I think increasingly the environment will respond to who we are and adapt in consequence.
The city will know where you are if you want it to.
Your workplace will know you. Smart dust at the entrance will...
Now, at 2020, we were all being told, in 2019 actually, 2019 as well, about the implementation of smart cities. Smart cities are coming. We kept seeing that word beat down our throats. To me, it's starting to make sense why. Because if smart city is about tracking people and helping push the flow of production and productivity, this smart dust would actually align and coincide with it completely and perfectly, because it gives data, quote unquote, they could implement it in a way of saying it's providing data to improve productivity of humanity as a whole. And the more we speak about each other, the same thing we see this whole immigrant debate, talking about the United States as if it's a sport team. The more we dehumanize this country, this culture, and even humanity, the more we become like machines that's focused on production and profit margins. And we need to be very careful to maintain our humanity in this growth of technology. We have to maintain our humanity. We have to fight for it, because it's very easy for us to give it away. And once it's gone, we have to beg for it back by machines. That's a real possibility, and it's something that we can easily avoid if we make the right choices right now.
Boot up your computer, and smart dust embedded in the elevator doors will automatically ring your floor.
Smart dust is going to sense the environment and allow us to improve the way that we live our lives.
No matter how we live in the future city, it will be radically different.
Looks like it's conclusive. Fogvid 24 is a real thing. The previous video is going viral. If you go and read the comment section, everybody's saying they were completely fine. They didn't feel anything coming on. But then as soon as they went out in this fog, whatever it is, they got a sore throat. They had to go to bed. They couldn't sleep. They were bunged up. They had migraines. They lost all their energy. And not only them, everyone in the household. There's mums reporting on it saying all the kids are ill. We've got people in concern.
And if you couldn't tell by him saying the word mum, this is yet another individual outside the United States complaining about the fog. All that stuff is occurring. It's all over TikTok. Maybe America just has completely lost it, you know? Maybe that's the answer, but I just don't. I'm sorry, not America, the world. But I just don't believe that to be so. I think it, like I said, there's some isolated events going on, which is leading to misinformation from everyone else that's looking for those isolated events in their area.
Okay, we've got people in Sweden, we've got people in Finland, all reporting the same thing. The fog has made them sick. And you know, it's scenarios like this that always have an adverse effect. Whatever they're doing in the skies, whatever they're spraying, whatever this fog is, they're obviously doing it for a reason, but it is going to wake people up. People have had enough. They're sick of being poked. They're sick of being prodded. They're sick of poisoning the air and poisoning the food, poisoning the milk, poisoning...
Now, I want to throw my conspiracy theorists a bone real quick, because there were conspiracy theorists in the past talking about well, it wasn't that called it yet, about chemtrails. The next thing you know, we start finding out information about cloud seeding, and the government starts confirming that there are airplanes that actually help manipulate our weather. Like, what the actual HELL? And these people were deemed crazy when they first started talking about it. Now in 2024, it's completely acceptable. Even though President LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, went to the Texas Institute of Technology and made an announcement about weather control. Now, who controls the weather controls the world. And he was studying with those young students in Texas on creating devices to control the weather. JFK vehemently was against it. But of course, after JFK's assassination, along with changing the civil rights paperwork from black prosperity to focus on black dependency, LBJ started focusing on controlling the weather and creating dominance in America from doing so. So none of this is old. None of this is old. It's just hidden
in the minds. We're being pummeled in more ways we can imagine to demoralise us over a period of time. So when things get to a critical point and everyone's screaming out for a saviour, the government's going to be there. But they were the ones that created the problem in the first place.
Now, here's a compilation of what some of the people have been saying. And some of this, like they say, was from 2019. So very interesting if you look at some of this. It's a fast compilation. If you guys want to see it, slow down the video, pause it. But I just put all this together for the quote-unquote warnings from the past about it. Now, it did have audio, but it wasn't no one speaking. It was just some TikTok music, which would, of course, get us copywritten. So, unfortunately, you have to listen to me as this compilation plays through. Showing about mysterious radiation, fog. Like I said, even the video that we played before this is over a decade old, it appears. See, mysterious radioactive cloud over Europe hints at accident further east. We've been having strange oddities going on for some time, but it has not been, it appears that it was an isolated event in the UK, the same way the drones were an isolated event in New Jersey. But it appears that it's moved on to a next phase, if it was to be an event, and now it's on a more so global scale. If the government's behind it, there's only so much we can do. We can only talk about it. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for, to try to talk about it. And I see Nashville, Tennessee on the top right of that, which is where I currently am. So it seems that Nashville has been one of the fog cities. We always have a lot of fog here. I never attributed it to any type of government control. Could, like I said, be another coincidence. But I was sick as a dog. Hell, you can see it on my YouTube videos. I was sick as a dog. It could be anything. But as you guys know, as more information arrives, I'll bring it out to you and we'll expose it together. As of right now, I'm going to be doing some more research on this whole terrorist thing with President Trump and the explosion with the Tesla truck, because I found out there's some pretty good, interesting details that I think the audience might enjoy. Please like this video like you guys been doing the last one. Please help me get to at least 500 likes so we can get like 2,000 views if possible. If not, we'll get 500 views like the video 3-4 days ago. And we're going to keep pushing. Click the notification bell to stay updated. And I'm excited to bring my next video that's coming out today. Thank you.